And we are live. Good morning.
Hi, people, meat bags, folks, watchers,
Good
friends.
morning, world. I'm just going to disappear from the screen for 1 second and I'll leave Monica to entertain you.
Oh gosh, the precious to entertain. Um, Thank you for coming to visit the page, and thank you if you've been joining us as we gently wake you up. I say we gently wake you up with a little chat, and then I feel like we might push you a little bit further, depending on our energy levels when we tell a story. Jodie Ann, how's you? What's new? I want an update.
What's new? Oh, just the usual. Christmas is only like a week away.
No, is it really? Is it literally
Well,
a week
it's a
away?
week and a half away. I was yesterday going through the calendar as to when our office closes down for Christmas. Because I actually get to close the office away, as in put the computer stuff away and just
Sorry,
exactly.
the office is closed.
Are you closing down for Christmas?
Well, technically, no, we never close, but I am taking annual leave over Christmas. So yeah, that'll be good. But yeah, so this week was my last face-to-face sessions with the young people until we get into our festive period and a festive offer we're giving out. So it was really nice. It was just really nice to just take stock of the progress that they'd made throughout this term. And I'm just like, wow, we've come such a long way, and we're just starting to bond. And now it's over, and they're gonna, I say flee. That sounds terrible, like they're escaping. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. They've been so lovely, all the groups.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I suppose the main news in the week this week has been like we've got the vaccine now.
Yeah.
They started rolling out the vaccine. And it reminded me of a story that, how they're saying some people have had this allergic reaction to it. And I was thinking that would be my mother, because she's kind of allergic to a lot of things. And when I was young, back in Hong Kong, we went to a nursery to buy some plants up in the hills of Sai Kung, which is kind of countryside. And there was a dog, and the dog bit my mum. It wasn't a bad bite, but it was enough just to graze, break the skin. So had off to the doctors to get the jabs, tetanus and rabies and whatnot. And she went in and she had this massive allergic reaction to the tetanus scratch that they did to test her. And they were like, well, we can't give you tetanus, we can't give you rabies. So wait for a week. If you start foaming at the mouth, then c'est la vie. And there was a friend of my brother's actually in primary school who got bit by a monkey and had to have rabies jabs. And it was just ridiculous because he was having to have them over a course of like 6 weeks, and there were massive amounts of injections, and it was all sort of like, ooh. And that's possibly the thing that's put me afeared of monkeys for most of my life. They're beautiful, they're like sharks, they complete respect, they deserve a place, amazing creatures, but over there.
So how did this child come in contact with the monkey?
There are monkeys in Hong Kong.
Oh wow. As in, obviously the monkeys exist, but are they just walking around places where monkeys are?
There's not, well, I assume there's still monkeys there. They were definitely there when I was young. They were kind of in certain places in the extreme areas. And there was this one place that people would go to as tourists to see the monkeys. And then they'd do that thing of feeding the monkeys, and the monkeys would become quite aggressive. We had a monkey that was living on our road for a while. And it was this old man monkey, and he was mean. He was mean, and he used to mug. If you're walking home with the groceries, he'd mug the ladies with their groceries and steal their groceries and stuff. He was I remember driving past him and he was sitting on a rock. He was this big old mean monkey, and he's like, oh, man, dude, you own this land. I'm not going anywhere near you.
Well, I know the animals definitely, well, we're animals as well, but the animals definitely, they own the earth, and we're just guests. But wow, all the things that you speak of are just things that I'm just about. Was it you I spoke to had to wear an ice cream tub on their head because they would come?
It was my brother.
Okay.
Because, that was in Australia. A magpie that we had to cross a park to get to the bus to go to school, and there was a magpie that had taken a particular dislike to my brother. So he had and he used to sweep down the tack, and so he had an ice cream bucket that he'd cut out the ear holes, and he'd wear it on his head to cross the park. But and there was a swing set in the park, and we couldn't go and play on the swing set because he'd try, but then the magpie would swoop down and just attack you.
Wow. Is it all children? Was it victimized? Was your brother victimized, or all children?
Well, all of us, but in particular my brother.
Did he have blonde hair or something? Was it like, oh?
I don't know. Maybe my brother was a magpie in a previous life and they'd had an altercation. And so I remember you owe me some bird seed. I'm coming after you.
Wow. What a horrible life to live.
What, the magpie or my brother?
Like just the idea of like a bird coming towards you. Like I used to, when I was at uni, I walked through this semi-forest. I say forest. I feel like because of where I've grown up, anywhere with like more than one tree is a forest. So, like some people's flats, these people plant babies. I'm just like, oh, okay, great. I'm outside. I'm in nature. There was the trees and they all went over like this, which I wasn't really used to. And there used to be squirrels in it because like you go squirrels, live your life. But I was always so scared that they was going to come and just like attack me. They never had, but in my mind I just saw a flying squirrel coming towards me.
Yeah, they used to pinch the shopping out of my push buggy when the tall one was little, and I'd have him in the pram and I'd put the shopping in the back. And the squirrels would come and if you weren't paying attention, if you did the shopping beforehand, they'd come and get into your shopping.
Wow, they're just like, we own this. We're like, wow, okay, yeah. Should we make some stuff up?
Yeah, let's make some stuff up. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, like filling the sky with light and lining. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out into the forest. Ooh, this could be the most exciting adventure I've ever been on. So I put my best walking shoes on and I buttoned up my coat right up to the throat. And I stepped out the door ready for more of nature's great things that they have to offer. What was nature going to give me? What would she proffer?
As I walked towards what I thought was nature, the outside, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm usually an inside person, but that part of my personality, I will defy. I thought where to go to next. I've been taken over by Mother Nature, and I wanted it. It was consensual. I enjoyed this natural hex. I decided to head to a green part of town, a part that I had previously found, and I'd usually rush past because I was only had a few minutes until a meeting or some other thing, and it was always a thing on my list that was definitely last. But today, as I woke up in the morn, I decided that yes, I will go out and take in all those fawns.
So I stepped off the road onto the woodland path. And I thought to myself, here I am at last, like Snow White, with the birds and the creatures all at my feet. They will come, they will get there, they will fall. It will be magical. I'll be a princess walking through the trees, feeling as free as the summer breeze. And the trees were big and they loomed overhead. And I couldn't help but feel a feeling of dread as the canopy closed over and things got dark. And I thought to myself, I wish I was in a really wide open spaces park. And in the branches, I could hear a rustling sound. And I felt the tremble of the under the ground. And I thought, oh no, nature is coming alive. It's starting to live. It's starting to thrive. I looked around. There were trees everywhere. I hadn't paid enough attention. I hadn't paid enough care.
Where was I? I looked through the moss. It must have been the case that I was just lost. But I've only taken a few steps into this place, and then, oh my gosh, I could feel my pulse pulsate, and my heart did race. I was out in nature. Oh my gosh, I thought I was a queen, but I had no throne. I reached into my pocket. I didn't even bring my phone. There was no GPS. I was lost. I was in this this mess. Oh yes. But I took a deep breath. The nature may be looming overhead, but when it comes to my bravery, I decided to go outside and embrace Mother Nature. So I would not put my bravery to bed. Oh no, I would not put it to rest. I decided to say, nature, yes, you are here, but we can live, we can coincide. We can be simply even more than just peers. So I took a rose that was growing in the bush, and I picked it up, and ooh, it gave me a whoosh, a feeling of love with the things that are outside. And I decided to take more and more and more. Oh my gosh, this energy was pulsating through me and I felt completely fried, and I was grabbing down everything and was going to take it home. I decided I want to take nature into my home, and I would create this beautiful throne. And time went by, and oh my, this forest, this beautiful thing that was out here, this thing that I previously said I didn't want to fight, I didn't want to be afraid of, I wanted it to be my peer. But me, I'd grounded it completely all. I was that devil, that monster that did maul the beautiful trees that I thought did once loom. But really, actually, it was nature making a cubby for me, nature wanting to bloom, and I'd wanted to just take it down. And this place that was once unfound was ruined by me. Me, humanity, had just brought it misery.
So the trees that were once majestic up in the air were now just sticks. I had stripped them bare. My arms were overloaded with twigs and branches, and all the animals were gathered and giving me evil glances. They were looking at me as if to say, "We wish you hadn't come here this day. This is our home. Look what you've done, all for the sake of a little bit of fun. That's where we live. That's where we thrive. How are we going to live now? How will we strive?" And my heart was breaking with what I had done, all for the sake of a little bit of fun. And I tried putting the leaves and the flowers all back, but I hadn't brought any glue or any blue tack. They wouldn't stick. They just went into a heap. And the animals, they started to creep. There were squirrels and caterpillars and rats and voles and rabbits popping their heads up out of the holes. They were all coming towards me with look on their faces as if to say, "We're going to put you through the paces. Look what you've done. We're out for revenge." And I thought, oh my God, will this terror never end?
And then that's when I heard it. I heard that crack, and I thought, why are they moving? Why are they moving back? I looked down on the ground, down at the mud, and I was feeling shaking. And the trees I brought down, I heard even more down with a thud. What was that? An earthquake, which obviously Mother Nature did make. And a crack in the ground, a massive cavern, a massive hole. In did fall some of the trees, and I was on one side and the animals, including the moles, were on the other side looking back at me. And I was I felt free. I was safe and they couldn't get to me. I looked behind, and what did I find? Nothing on my side. But on the other was the nature, was the animals. They had their own place, and I was just here. It seems like the things I did try and make them my peers, but actually instead of coming in and respecting nature and leave it just be, I actually thought, you know what, I will defy thee. And now I'm alone on this side of the world, which is barren, and the animals, they can prosper and live their lives.
And so now I live here in this desert wasteland. It's not a nice place. It's not very grand. And every day I look over the ravine, and over there I see a beautiful nature scene. The trees are tall and green and lush. The animals' fur is beautiful and plush. They've got fruit aplenty and water running smooth. And I sit here on my barren groove, and I soak up the dew whenever I can. It doesn't really fill you up. It's not enough for man. But I look at what I have done, and I think to myself, well, there you are. You are the one that tipped the point over the edge. You went too far. You went over the ledge. This is what mankind is doing to the planet. Why can't you see this? Why aren't you panicking about this destruction that we are doing? And I just pushed it along with a little bit of shooing, but nature took its own place back. and they're all fine. They even have like knapsacks that they go for picnics and have a lot of fun. And I'm all alone. I'm the only one in this desert with ground. It's kind of like being on Mars, but there's no other people. There are no cars or bars or bras. Oh,
there we go. No, I feel like, yeah, maybe like if we want nature to like crack on, we need to leave it be.
Yeah, there's that theory, isn't there, with all the environmental destruction that we're doing. It's more about, yes, we are killing so much life, but if we kill ourselves, then life will kind of just come back and say, you know, screw you, humans.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, we're kind of just like, the ultimate sacrifice, don't put any more human life on the planet.
Yeah,
and then the planet will prosper.
There is this thing that the pandemic is kind of nature fighting back a little bit as well and saying, hey, remember, you are just animals as well, and you are just as vulnerable. Take care. So that was a cheery little Saturday morning for you there. A little bit of a moral lesson. Yeah, a little bit of a moral lesson.
That's just where the story went. That's just where the story went. That's just where our minds obviously were.
Yeah, that's the wavelength that we're on today. All right, lovely. Have a grand weekend. Everybody else, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Almost there for Christmas. So take care, be safe, and yeah, bye.
Bye.
Oh, where's the button? I always do this.
Where's the button?